What is up, NFL fans? Welcome to Betting with the Barbers, powered by Superbook Sports. I'm Ron Kruk, joined as always by the stars of the show, former New York Giant Tiki Barber and former Tampa Bay Buck Rondé Barber. Guys, week number 9 is in the rear view mirror, and I don't know, it could go down as the craziest NFL week of the season. But before we get to that, we have to acknowledge what Mr. Tiki Barber accomplished this past weekend. There should be a big applause, finishing the New York Marathon in 4 hours and 47 minutes and coming in an impressive 15,270th place. Seriously, well done, Tiki, and not bad for a guy who almost didn't even make it to the starting line.
Yeah, that was my 7th New York City Marathon finish, my 14th overall, but this one almost didn't happen because I wasn't trained for it, really, because I didn't think I could make it playing. I called an Alabama LSU game, which actually turned out to be a really great game this weekend, but there's no way to get home from Tuscaloosa. So I had to drive to Atlanta, got in at 3 a.m., slept for an hour and a half, got on a plane at 6, flew to LaGuardia in New York City, took an Uber to the bridge. I was on the wrong side of the bridge, so I had to coerce the state police to take me across the bridge, which finally got me to the start line about 15 minutes before I ran 26.2 miles with my buddies. So I finished. That's all I care about. I was dying and starving, but I got to the end, and that's me and 25 or 26,000 others finished the New York City Marathon on the 50th running of the New York City Marathon.
Wow.
I
was getting ready to give you a lot of flack, but after hearing that description, I think I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. There's no chance.
Ron,
I can't believe it.
Miles.
It was 30 minutes off my PR. 30.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the new norm for you. You just come in hot and just jump on in.
Hey, who needs to train? Forget it.
Train, nothing. Oh my goodness.
Well, the bar has been set. I mean, Rondé, next year, you're going to try to beat your brother's time?
I can run 26 miles in 26 days, one a day. That's about all I can do. You know what it is? It's those extra 6 years that I put on my body playing football. I can't do it, man. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it.
I get it. All I'm hearing is you're saying there's a chance. We're going to roll with that.
No, there is no chance. I can speak for Rondé. There is zero chance.
I'm not listening. All right. Hey, guys, let's take a look back before we move forward at really an unprecedented week number 9 in the NFL, where the dogs were barking all day long, covering in 9 of 12 games. But to me, the remarkable stat of the weekend was the 7 biggest favorites last Sunday went 0-7 against the spread, and 5 of them lost outright. I mean, I'm personally still trying to figure out what the heck happened in Jacksonville and in Dallas.
Yeah, this is not the week that it's not the week any of us expected, right? And it started in college football. How did Wake lose to Carolina? Not only did they not cover, they lost to Carolina.
Because Carolina decides they want to score 50 at some point every 3 weeks or so, and it doesn't matter who they're playing. They're going to score 50, in this case, 58. Right. 113 points in that game. So I hope anybody went over. I think both teams actually went over. So that was an unbelievable game.
I would say for sure. A few other notable stats, guys. The Chiefs now 0-5 against the spread at home after Green Bay scored that late touchdown. They are now 3-10 at home in their last 13. And this year, 2-7 against the spread. I mean, who needs Mahomes versus Rodgers when you have Mahomes versus Love?
Yeah, right. I would say, Ron, that the league is in a state of parallelism. Basically, it's parity, baby. Anybody can win any week. I'm done picking. Done picking.
But the Giants,
like what happened to Cincinnati? Are you kidding me? Cincinnati? What? I'm done with them.
You know what happened? You stopped picking them. That's what happened. Since you stopped picking them the last 2 weeks, they've tanked.
Good point.
Yeah, but I'm less worried about Cincinnati. Cincinnati and the Browns is a rivalry game. I mean, yes, they got destroyed, but they also lost the week before to the New York Jets. So, I mean, are you surprised, really, what's going on with the Cincinnati Bengals? The Raiders were
Yeah.
the more interesting one, losing to the Giants at
Sure.
home, and Derek Carr just looked off. He had a couple of
Yeah.
easy throws, just easy touchdowns he just missed on. And when you miss and you're on the road, it comes back to bite you. Giants get a big win for
Yeah.
them. They're now 3-6. They're gonna have it, to be honest with you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I tell you this: the AFC is a mess, right? I mean, ask yourselves: is Tennessee really the best team in the conference? You know, two
Well,
or
what
3
your
weeks
record
ago,
says
the
you are,
Suddenly, apparently, they are.
You are.
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks ago, the Chiefs were buried. Now they're only a half game out of the West. You know, the NFC is a little bit more top heavy, but it's a unique year to say the least, man.
It sure is. Buffalo, Dallas, the Rams. We thought they were the cream of the crop. They all lose. And some good teams, guys, have not been good against the spread. The Ravens and the Bucks are 3-5 against the spread this year. So a lot of craziness going on, but we better get to the picks because Rondé, I'm sure your tea time's coming up, isn't it?
At some point.
We just got to make things right. All right, here we go, guys. Game number 1. If the favorites let you down last week, the good news is you got another chance. We begin with an AFC matchup between the 5-4 New England Patriots hosting the 5-4 Cleveland Browns. The Patriots, guys, return home after easily covering in Carolina last week. I believe we all picked that game. And the Browns are one of those underdogs that had no issues covering, winning outright and blowing out their in-state rival, the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams 5-4 against the spread this season. Now, something to keep an eye on in this game. Browns running back Nick Chubb, he did test positive for COVID this week. He is vaccinated, and if he gets 2 negative tests 24 hours apart, he could be cleared to play week 10, but you want to keep an eye on that situation. The line, according to superbook.com, opened up New England, guys, as a -2.5 point favorite. It is now down to New England -1.5. The over-under sits at 45.5 points. Tiki, break down the matchup for us.
Yeah, this one's really tough to figure out how it's going to play out because Mac Jones and the New England Patriots are playing so well, such good football, 3 wins in a row. And if you go back to the Dallas game where they lost in overtime, they put 4 good performances back to back to back to back. And so you would assume that they're starting to figure themselves out. Mac Jones isn't making mistakes, like the 3 interception game he had early in the season. We haven't seen that. They're running the ball effectively enough. The challenge is that there's no real big explosive plays on this Patriots team. And when you're playing a Browns team that is one of the top defenses in the NFL, and Myles Garrett is leading the league with 12 sacks and 36 pressures, you got to be able to be explosive at times. So as I look at this game, I look at a Browns team, yes, that even though they might not have Nick Chubb, they do have a really good alternative in Dearness Johnson, who in their stead a couple of weeks ago put up 146 yards and a touchdown. I believe he can step right in. It's all about their offensive line. And whether or not we're going to blame Odell Beckham Jr. for their lack of success or not, it is what it is. When he's not there, they play significantly better. Donovan Peoples-Jones has turned into a reclamation project, the kid out of Michigan. And so I believe that they're going to be able to continue the role that they started against Cincinnati last week. And even though I love the Patriots and I love the momentum they've built over the last month, I'm going to go Browns here, getting 1.5, even though they're on the road.
Well, agree with you, especially on your latter point. The Browns are they're enigmatic, man. Just who are they? They're capable of being like clearly the best running team in football, no matter who is running the football. Hunt, Chubb, Dearness, Johnson, it doesn't matter. But they're a roller coaster in the passing game. Odell Beckham drama aside, let's put that aside. They are average as hell in the passing game. Both tight ends, Tiki, both tight ends and Kareem Hunt are their top 3 leading receivers. So reclamation project or not with this Peoples guy, they don't throw the ball to their wide receivers. They just don't. So and look, if they don't run the ball well, they lose close games. And the Patriots, I too agree with you on the Patriots. They have found something here in the middle part of the season. They started 2-4. They run off 3 straight wins, all different type of wins, by the way. And now they're only a half game back of the Bills team that, you could say they're floundering. The one thing I like about this Patriots team, they don't make mistakes that beat you. I think Damian Harris is questionable, right? In this game because he had a concussion last week.
Correct.
But this game is a pick 'em. I don't know. I just feel like Cleveland's third-ranked defense is going to step up on the road, especially because the Patriots can't run the ball. If they don't have to, they cannot run the ball. I know most of the bets are coming in against the Pats, but this is going to be a close game. These teams are comparable in a lot of different ways, but I think Cleveland covers this, even at New England.
All right, so both Tiki and Rondé go with Cleveland. Well, we can't have a clean sweep. Come on. I mean, I'm with you, Rondé. I mean, the Patriots have looked great, reeled off 3 straight wins. It's a huge game, as you said. They're close, half game behind Buffalo, but I always like storylines that kind of come into this. And remember, Bill Belichick once coached those Browns and was fired in 1995. I think he thoroughly enjoys beating Cleveland. Always. Somehow he'll get it done. I mean, the key, again, I agree with you, Tiki. Johnson can come in, and as he proved against the Broncos, he ran all over them. He can get it done. But I think the Pats are going to just stack that box, do everything that they can to stop the run, put it on Baker Mayfield, who is not 100% and still dealing with that shoulder injury. I think New England's defense has been playing really well, and somehow I think Mac Jones will just do enough to get the win for the Patriots. I'm going New England at home. All right, the best way to be ready for week number 10 is, of course, by staying on top of the latest odds and the line movement at superbook.com. Download the Superbook app today and get in on the action. Make sure you're following us on social media at Superbook Sports. All right, we now turn the spotlight, guys, on a matchup in the NFC and the return of 2 quarterbacks, or at least we hope to see Seattle's Russell Wilson and the Packers' Aaron Rodgers go at it. Seattle 3-5, traveling to Green Bay, who comes into the game with a 7-2 record. Wilson, of course, has missed the last 3 games while dealing with that finger injury. And we all know the drama going on in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. As long as he clears COVID protocols, he should play. But there is a chance in this game. This game could lose a lot of shine if suddenly we have Geno Smith versus Jordan Love or some other combination. Keep an eye on that. Here's the line according to Superbook.com. Guys, we've seen some movement in this one. Green Bay opened up at -5.5. The current odds right now are the Packers -3. The over-under point total is sitting at 49.5 points. Rondé, you're up. Break down this game for us.
This one shocked me a little bit simply because the line is shocking me simply because we don't know who's playing quarterback for either one. This is a quarterback status game, right? Maybe we'll get to see Russell not show us how intensely he's working out in front of the pregame cameras for what? I had to get that in.
That was brilliant.
Look, if Rodgers is not eligible to play, and we won't know until Saturday night, because he's not eligible to come back until Saturday. He needs 2 negative tests. So there's a good chance we're going to see Jordan Love, and I think we proven last week that he's not quite it. He's already shown that he's really green. His first start left a lot to be desired. It was a game I couldn't watch. It was boring as hell. But they're still, in spite of all of that, they are still 8-0 versus spread this year. So if you're simply talking betting, you still have to take Green Bay because they are. Seattle's in that without Russell Wilson. They weren't burning down the barn with him. Their weapons scare you, of course. Their wide receivers are great, but the Packers' defense is top 5. And Devontae Adams, to me, is due for a big game no matter who's a quarterback. I've lauded LaFleur all year long. I think he does a great job coaching. He found a way to stay in a game in KC where he had 0 chance of winning. I think Green Bay at home. This is a no-brainer. 3.5. Because even if Russell Wilson comes back, he's not going to be the Russell Wilson that we know. He's got an injury to his throwing hand. So this one's Green Bay all the way.
Yeah, so we always tend to agree on one and disagree on another one. I got to disagree on this one simply because I was listening to what Aaron Rodgers was doing in his off time. It was yoga, like sitting around meditating. He wasn't like working out. He wasn't doing anything. It's Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I know he can turn around and be great just because he's great. But I also worry, Rondé, that he's not going to play. And Jordan Love just seems lost. He tries to do the things that Aaron Rodgers does. You saw it last week. He's trying to throw these back shoulder
tries to
passes.
mimic him.
Like leaning off his back foot, like, oh, I got this on the back shoulder. He throws an interception. It's like, dude, you're not good enough to act like Aaron Rodgers. Just be yourself. Well, and on the other side of this, yes, Seattle's defense sucks, and it still sucks. You can't put it any other way. Somehow,
or Bobby Wagner.
And somehow they become one of the top 10 scoring defenses in the NFL, though. I think a lot of that is the teams that they've been playing. But if they're playing an inferior quarterback in Jordan Love, I think it gives them a little bit of the advantage. Now, who's the leading rusher on the Seattle Seahawks? Anyone? It's Alex Collins. He has 304 yards, right? He's not inspiring you in any way or shape or form. However, Chris Carson is coming back this week. He's practiced on Wednesday. We believe he'll be available. And to me, that portends that the Seattle Seahawks can win this game in old school traditional fashion. Like before Russell Wilson had to throw for 350 yards a game. They turn around, they hand the football off, they let Russell do what Russell does. He kicks it down the field to DK Metcalf, who's leading the team in touchdowns. And I think that Seattle finds a way to go disrupt the Green Bay Packers because of their pending potential quarterback situation. Give me the Seattle Seahawks getting 3 here on the road in Green Bay.
All right, Tiki going Seattle, Rondé going Green Bay.
Yeah, well, I'll give you this. If Seattle does go to Green Bay and win, it's doing the NFC a favor. Back to parity. Back to parity.
Back to the AFC.
By the way, both of those cities, not a place where you'd be playing golf today.
Good point. Very good point.
What city would you be playing golf
Anywhere in the South, baby. Anywhere in the South.
Quickly, my take on this game, man. I think it's such a key, of course, if Rodgers takes the field. But of course, even if he does, he hasn't played in 2 weeks. So it's not only Wilson that has the layoff. Watch how the line goes, of course, to see once they announce if Rodgers will be there. I was going back and forth with this. I thought that Wilson would keep it close. I think the addition of Carson is huge. Didn't like Green Bay when it opened at 5.5, but at 3, I do. I'm with you, Rondé. I think Davante Adams is set for a huge game after what he had to deal with. Jordan Love couldn't get the ball near him. I think he's going to go off and grab everything that Rodgers throws to him if he plays. Seahawks, the other thing, they've lost their 9 straight at Lambeau Field. So I'm leaning towards the Pack at -3, but if it goes 3.5, 4, I'm staying away from it. All right, guys, time now for the Superbook Sports Barber Brothers Games of the Week. Before you lock in your picks, make sure you keep on top of the latest lines at superbook.com and download the app today. All right, Tiki, give us your game of the week.
This was maybe the easiest game of the week that I could have looked at, and it's tomorrow. It's actually tonight, because this is airing on a Thursday. The Baltimore Ravens laying 7.5 on the road at the Miami Dolphins. First of all, I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. It could be Tua, but maybe not. It could be Jacoby Brissett. But either way, they're going to throw at least an interception, maybe 2. So that just seems what they tend to do on a week in and week out basis. There's zero explosion on this Miami offense. I love what Jalen Waddle could become. He's leading the team in receptions right now. Mike Gesicki keeps beasting it with these one-handed catches and stuff, but I'm not excited by Miami right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We talked about the Cleveland Browns, right, and their top rushing offense in the NFL. They're only number 2. And you know why? Because the Baltimore Ravens are number 1. We talk about them all the time. Their running offense. Lamar Jackson's leading their team in rushing with 600 yards rushing. This is the quarterback. He got 600 yards rushing already. Every year they clip 3,000. 3,000. A great rushing year for an NFL team is about 1,900. They get 3,000 per annum, right?
Crazy.
So the Baltimore Ravens are going to go down to Miami and just completely take care of business. They're starting to feel their mojo. Lamar is the catalyst. He's the MVP in so many ways because without him, they have 2 wins, maybe 1. And so I love Miami. I love Baltimore laying 7.5, even though they're on the road with the Miami Dolphins.
So you chose
this recording.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
No, so he chose a bettors game. Everybody's, I mean, what is it? Probably 70% of the people are betting are doing exactly what you say.
All the public is on this one. All the
public. Yeah, and remember, the Ravens have struggled to cover this season, going 3-5. They've been in a lot of close games. But Miami is 3-5-1 against the spread. I kind of expect the Ravens to blow up a little bit in this game as well. So that leads us to you, Rondé. Give us the game that you will be keeping an eye on.
The game I'm looking forward to is the Rams at 49ers. Both cities, by the way, where you could be playing golf today.
Good point. You know what? You never know what to expect. Weather updates this week and golf updates. That's what I love about this show.
Look, both of these teams are coming off disappointing losses, right? The 49ers were no match for Arizona. Now they've lost 4 or 5, and they're not looking like a good team, right? If it's +4 to the home team here, and look, nobody expected or saw coming what happened to the Rams last week versus Tennessee Titans. I will say this: turnovers, dude, are a great equalizer. They dominated that football game. I think Tennessee had less than 200 yards rushing, right? And they dominated time possession, but they still lost a football game. It gives you concern when the best team or one of the best teams in the league is losing games when you dominate a game like that. Like, I like this game because we're at that point in the year where you're either proving it or you're not. It's a rivalry game, of course, and both teams need a bounce back. Jimmy G has had 2 decent games, statistically at least, but it always feels like he's not good enough to win. He's just not good enough to win. Right? And there's a reason probably why John Lynch drafted a quarterback, because I think they know that too. Aside from Deebo Samuel, there's 0 supporting cast. I mean, I guess Elijah Mitchell's been somewhat of a surprise, right, at running back. Kittle's missed, 3 games. He's only got 1 touchdown on the year. It's like, who can San Francisco rely on? Nobody. Their left tackle is out for the year. McGlinchey's out. Jalen Moore, the rookie, has to start. I mean, it's the best D-line in football, the Los Angeles Rams. And they got Von Miller, who's yet to play. They lead the league in sacks. I think it'll be another one of those games. And I honestly can't stand it. I can't stand San Francisco's secondary. When Josh Norman at 33 is your best player, this game, if Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead don't pressure Matthew Stafford, it's going to be a blowout. +4 is going to look like +40 to me. I know they'll bounce back. They got too much talent on wide receiver and tight end on their football team. They're still the team to beat in the NFC, if you ask me. It's not Arizona. It's still the Los Angeles Rams. So take the points. I think it might be even more once this game comes along.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how the Rams bounce back on Monday Night Football after that tough loss against the Titans. I'm with you. I love this game. I'm all over the Rams. That was Matthew Stafford's worst game of the season. We'll see. I'm sure he's going to put that behind him, and I think the Rams roll in a big way. All right, guys, time now for Bet or Bust. We will pick 3 games or teams that we either like and want to bet, or games we don't and want to stay away from. It's quick, rapid fire, bet or bust. And number 1 up is my Denver Broncos. Denver -2.5. They welcome in the Philadelphia Eagles to Mile High. Denver, as of this recording, is the favorite at -2.5. Guys, are we betting or are we busting?
I mean, Denver confused me last week. like really confused me last week. Until now, I don't know what to expect from them at all going forward.
Nobody
I
does.
thought
Nobody.
they trade Von Miller and like, all right, we're done.
Got better.
That's all right.
They got better.
We're
Addition
done.
by subtraction.
And they got better. But well, here's what I do know. I do know that the Eagles will keep it close, even if they start out slowly. Jalen Hurts has a game. He has a gamer in him. Like, is there something about him that just makes you feel like, he can keep a game within reach. But I do know that it is very hard to play in Mile High, especially when you come from sea level, like really, like at the ocean, like where Philadelphia is, like New York is. And it may just be a subtle like parching of the palate, and you feel like you can't get hydrated enough, or you have a 30-yard run, and all of a sudden you're shot for the next 4 or 5 plays. I'm going to take Denver here simply because they're the home team. You're laying 2.5, so I would bet this one.
I'm betting it too. I'm betting it too. Teddy Bridgewater has very quietly, nothing spectacularly, had a solid year. He's got 14 touchdowns, only got 5 interceptions. We know he missed that one game because of concussion, but I love his leadership style. He is exactly what Jalen Hurts needs to become. A guy that's just methodical about his game. He has some spectacular ability. He can throw the football, but he's not trying to do it every single play. That's where Jalen Hurts, I think, is really hurt by his play calling and the way he plays games. He loses games for his football team. Teddy Bridgewater does not lose games for his football team right now. And if it's 2.5, I'm taking this one.
Yeah. All right. Let's make it a clean sweep. Shockingly, I'm going with Denver again. They have to though.
What? You're taking Denver?
We're going to have to add up what my record is with Denver. I know it's over 500 picking Denver. Okay. I'm just saying that. So stick with me, fans. I'm not that big of a homer. I'm a big homer, but I'm not that big of a homer. But I think if they can limit Jalen Hurts, that defense is playing real well. Gordon and Williams has been a really solid duo of running backs so far. I'm going to go with Denver. And, when you're playing at Mile High, it can be a factor. Although I know, what'd you call it, a parching of the palate?
Yeah.
I know you didn't have that
one.
running in the marathon.
No, I did. That's when I stopped running and started walking.
At least your wife hooked you up with a beer,
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
That was the exact spot. I was like, all right, I'm good. I have my beer.
He's back.
That's where that 30 minutes off your PR went, dude. Drink beer and walk.
Right. Exactly right.
I don't blame you. That's my style of running. All right, guys, bet or bust. Here we go. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC is now at plus 275. Some other odds. Baltimore's next at 9-2. Tennessee 5-1. Chiefs hanging around at 6-1. Cleveland and New England 12-1. But the question is, are you betting or busting Buffalo at plus 275 to win the AFC?
This one, man. This one.
With you.
If you would have asked me this at 1:00 last Sunday, I would say absolutely take it. And then the absolute improbable happened. Like, not impossible, because we've already stated that in this 2021 NFL season, anything is possible.
Yep.
I did not think that was possible. What happened?
Yeah.
The
Jaguars. 9-6.
Do I lose confidence in Buffalo at this point just because of one game? No, because you can have one game. I would still actually take this. Baltimore, I think Baltimore at the end, they're gonna. I know they're the best team in the AFC. I can tell just because of the quarterback, just because of the way they play defense, just the way they control games. But at the end of the day, I think Buffalo is the team that can most exploit the rest of the teams in the AFC. They can play great offense, right? They have a stout defense when they want to come to play, and I think they'll bounce back from this past loss, and the momentum will take them towards the end of the year. I would take this absolutely.
Ron,
I would take a chance on this.
Ron, how uninspiring of a bet is this? It's like the AFC is so confusing and just
Great point.
I have with enthusiasm I'm taking that. Hell no, I'm busting that. There's no way I'm taking that. There's not a chance. Because
Well, you got to take somebody, right?
If
So
I
where
had
you
to
gonna
take
lay your
somebody,
money?
I probably would take Baltimore like you because I mean Pittsburgh is no, Cincy no, Cleveland no. I mean New England might win the division, right? We're talking about like Buffalo winning the AFC. New England might come snatch that division from them depending on what happens. Going forward, the AFC is a wash. They're all 5-3 and 5-4. The West, that is, and so I'm going to bust it because I have no idea, but I don't have faith. Especially because of what we saw in Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville's getting better and they're starting to fight. And Josh Allen, the Jacksonville Josh Allen, had a day with a sack, a fumble recovery, and an interception in that game. But this is a couple of games in a row for Buffalo where they've looked pedestrian.
Good point.
After being one of the best teams, if not the best team in the AFC, they've looked very average, if not below average. So I'm busting this until that trend changes.
Yeah, let's revisit this one in 3 weeks. The AFC is just wide open. I would bust it too, and at this point, and just take a flyer on like a 12-1 New England. What if they do win that division and get home field? We all know what happens up there in the playoffs. So I'm busting it too. All right, final bet or bust for this week. I love it. Let's go to the hardwood as college basketball season has tipped off. Here we go, guys. Your Virginia Cavaliers are 50-1 to win the NCAA national championship. Are you two all in on the Cavaliers?
I mean, I'm always all in on the Cavaliers, Ron. I mean, you have to say yes, but we just lost to Navy. Navy.
Yes, I saw that.
Navy. And you know why we lost to Navy? Because we played pack line defense, which is fantastic if you guys want to try to score in the paint, but Navy shot 52%, 52.5% from 3-point range. And Virginia's Tony Bennett's going to give that away. He's going to say, hey, you can knock down 52%. We can take it. Just look at UMBC on the NCAA tournament, first round, first 16-1 to lose, right? So I'm taking it. Obviously, I'm betting the hell out of it because I do believe Tony Bennett will figure it out. But
I'm not the only homer.
We lost the Navy, dude. Navy.
Rondé, you jumping on, betting or busting?
What he said. I almost threw my phone at the TV. I was having an adult beverage last night with some friends, and it came across, and I said, "Turn on that game, please." It was 66 to whatever the score was, and I was like, first I was like, "Who's Navy?" And I was like, no, that's the Service Academy Navy that we just lost to. So, no, I'm not taking him. You know what? Tony Bennett is one of the best coaches in college basketball. It's been proven over and over again. He can make, let's say, average players, 2 or 3 star recruits, play like 5-star recruits as a team. But no chance. I'm busting this right now. It's just too embarrassing.
Well, I know our producer, Mike Rigg, is just chomping at the bit back there because his Kansas Jayhawks, they are 8-1 odds to win the national championship. The team with the best odds and the favorite, Gonzaga at 6-1, Texas 10-1, and UCLA 12-1. As I have nothing to do with Virginia, I'm going to bust this one.
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
All right. Thank you. All right. Hey, we want to give our viewers and listeners the chance. This is a season-long Superbook contest that gives you the opportunity to hang with the Barber brothers in Las Vegas for Super Bowl weekend. One lucky winner will be picked. If you want to get into the mix, all you have to do is send in a question for the guys via Twitter. It's just that easy. The handle is at Superbook Sports, at Rondé Barber, at Tiki Barber, and at R Kruk, and you're in. It's just that simple. Here is this week's question, guys. A good one coming in from Marvin Pinkney. Here it is. Have you guys ever pranked your teams by switching uniforms, college or pros? I think it's like the Parent Trap. You're switching position or teams. That's a question from Marvin. Tiki?
I think we only tried it one time. and I tried to go into Rondé's position room, and
Yep.
His defensive back coach
Art.
said, "Yep,
Art
exactly."
Art
Art
Marcos.
Marcos was like,
College?
"This is college
Yeah,
at
this is college.
University of Virginia." I tried to go in there, but it was my third year, I think. So I had started to put on like weight. So we looked exactly alike until our third year in college when I got big. And I took 2 steps in. He's like, "Tiki, get the hell out of here."
Yeah, I don't think we ever have. Well, let's say we've never done it in sports.
Yes.
God,
Yes.
I love it. What
Enough
a
said.
great question, man. I love it. And I love the fact you guys actually tried it. That's what makes it even better.
Well, he doesn't trust me running backwards, and I don't trust him with my running the ball reputation. So there you go.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Good point.
All right, guys. Great job as always. That's going to wrap up another episode of Betting with the Barbers. 4 teams get the weekend off. The Bengals, Bears, Texans, and the Giants. Before we wrap up, I want to thank all the veterans and servicemen and women out there. Happy Veterans Day to all of you, and thank you for everything that you do for this country. Always appreciate it. Make sure to sign up at superbook.com and download the Superbook app for the latest odds, and follow Superbook on social media at Superbook Sports. Betting with the Barbers airs on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and a new episode drops every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And look for clips and our picks of the show throughout the weekend. And check out the podcast version of the show on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, odds are subject to change. For Rondé and Tiki Barber, I'm Ron Kruk. Enjoy the games. We'll talk to you next week.